So yesterday we discussed about cookies. So I have just explained high level. What do you mean by cookies? Cookies is nothing but it's a piece of information that is stored in the user hard drive by the web server or web service or machine. Somebody is trying to join in our particular machine. So the cookies has been divided into two types. One is session cookies, another one is persistent cookies. Session cookies, another one is persistent cookies. So session cookies means it will be having a defined length. Okay, for example, after 1 minute, it should expire. After 2 seconds or after 10 seconds, it should expire. So these cookies are active till we are logged in or till the browser triggers these cookies. Once you close the browser, then automatically these cookies gets deleted. Permanently, it's deleted. When we close the particular browser, all the session cookies gets deleted. But when it comes to the persistent cookies, so these cookies are usually written on the user machine. For example, I'm a user. So when I'm using any of the application, some cookies will come and sit in my laptop hard drive from the web server. They will mention the date. Okay, so this should be there for at least a month or 6 months or 1 year. So these cookies will be there in a user machine permanently on a longer period of time. So it might be a month or it might be a week or it might be a years together. So these cookies can be used to open the browser and it will load fast whenever you go for a second time or third time. So just a knowledge you should know what do you need, what do you mean by cookies. Now take down heading cookies. Take down heading cookies. Cookies is nothing but a piece of information. Cookies is nothing but a small piece of information. A small piece of information that is stored in the small piece of information that is stored in the that is stored in the form of text file. That is stored in the form of text file. Be unmute.
Can you repeat, sir?
Yes, I'll repeat. Cookies is nothing but a small piece of information. A small piece of information that is stored in the form of text file. That is stored in the form of text file. That is stored in the form of text file. That is stored in the form of text file on the user. That is stored in the form of text file. Text file stored in the form of text file on the user hard drive. User means client. We are all the users. On the user hard drive by the web server. On the user hard drive by the web server. Okay, this is the first point. Then write down second point. This piece of information this piece of information is then this piece of information is then sent back to the server each and every time. This piece of information then sent back to the server each and every time. 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 When the browser requests for pages from the server. When the browser requests for the when the browser request for the pages. When the browser requests for the pages from the browser. From the browser. These cookies will stop and continue. These cookies usually contains these cookies usually contains these cookies usually contains personalized user data. These cookies usually contains personalized user data, personalized user data, personalized user data, personalized user data. To communicate between the different web pages, to communicate between the different web pages, to communicate between the different web pages, different web pages. Next, next heading. The cookies has been divided into two types. Cookies has been divided into two types. One is session cookies. Second one is persistent cookies. One is session cookies. Second one is persistent cookies. One is session cookies. Second one is persistent cookies. Session cookies and second one is persistent cookies. Okay, heading session cookies. These cookies are active. These cookies are active. These cookies are active. These cookies are active till the browser triggers the cookies to open. Till the browser triggers these cookies to open. Till the browser triggers these cookies to open. Till the browser triggers these cookies open. Stop. When we close the browser, when we close the browser, this when we close the browser, this session cookies gets deleted. When we close the browser, this session cookies gets deleted. This session cookies gets deleted. Session cookies gets deleted. Next one is persistent cookies. Persistent cookies. These cookies are written permanently on the user machine. These cookies are written permanently on the user machine. These cookies are written permanently on the user machine. And it will be present for a month or years. And it will be present for a month or years. Okay, so now let's understand a few of the important things before we get into the Postman tool. There are different HTTP methods you have. If I go here, let us say Nika.com, or say, which one shall I take? Say Amazon, say American Airlines. Let me go to this American Airlines. Okay, so I want to book the ticket from city. Let us say one-way trip. So making out of suggestion. Let us say let us say Bangkok, Thailand. Okay, so right click, dispatch, go to network calls. I'll clear everything and the date. Okay, so I will choose the date, that is May 7th. Okay, I'm clearing everything, nothing is there. When I click on search, okay, it is giving you a list of, it is fetching list of airlines. It will fetch and give me the details. Loading the page. Something went wrong. So you are seeing all the errors here. If you come back and see here, see whatever is coming, that's good. Okay, you're getting that information. Okay, so some of the flights information it is fetching. Some informations you are not able to fetch. You are getting an error, unable to load this data. Or let us say, make my trip. Okay, so I want to search the tickets from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Departure tomorrow, or say 3rd. Okay, so right click, inspect. It is fetching the list of flights. Okay, it's fetching the list of flights. See here, so many calls are getting triggered. So many calls are getting triggered. I search for second. See, Udan is there. Then Travel Expert is there. Okay, let me try which are all the airlines we have. Indigo, Vistara Airlines is there. Okay, do I have Vistara Airlines here? Control, yep. Vistara. Okay, here you're able to see the Vistara Airlines. See here, it is fetched the details. Vistara you are seeing here, it is fetched the details, and you go here. This Vistara Airlines. Let me bring it this one side. Vistara Airlines. It has got a response. Okay, so this one you're not able to see in a proper JSON format because it is a live website. Nobody want to give their data to anybody. So you're not getting the proper details. When you're testing it, you will get it, what time it is available, so where it is traveling, all the details. But here, when you're searching, you gave from where you want to go. Okay, so you would have given the request in the beginning. So initiator, timing is there. Preview. Okay, here also you're not able to see the details, but In the response, it is going and fetching the required details, whatever the flights you wanted. You are able to see that. Okay, now I'll clear everything. Okay. So you'll be able to see all the flights. Similarly, you can go and search, Air Asia if you want to try, say Air India, A capital, right? Okay. So Indigo, you try Indigo. What happened? Calls got cleared up. We cleared it. Sometimes okay, it's not fetching you the details. We clear this also. Let's go through all the details. Yeah, details are there. Features are related to Indigo. So here we will be able to see all the calls. But when you see here, you will be able to see one status code of 200. And you are seeing a request method get. You're seeing request method get. So now we are going to discuss about these two topics. What do you mean by request methods? Which are all the methods we have, and what are all the status codes we are going to verify when we are testing in our project? Okay, so let's discuss that. A different, which are all the HTTP methods we have? You already written HTTP method. Put your notes and see that.
Get,
What?
post, patch.
Get, post, patch, delete. But if I go to the Postman tool, okay, so for example, if I go to the Postman tool, postman.com, scrolling, let me go to this batch. Apart from these methods, you'll see a lot of other methods. Look at here. Not only get to put to post, patch, delete. Apart from that, you have few more. Head is there, option is there, and if you want to try, if you want to type any new method, that also is option available. So these are all okay. Get, post, put, patch, delete are the popular. So all the popular. Remaining head and options, we will not use it. When we want to pass some of the external details, that we will do it. But 99% of the project, we will not use head and option. So now we are only focusing on get, put, post, patch, delete method. Okay, why we use get method? ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಓದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ I can easily get to know that okay, nobody is preparing. And I got a complaint from the project trainer, no bugger is interacting in the class. Is it true? How many of you are interacting? How many of you are interacting? Whether the trainer is suitable for your batch or no? You want me to change the trainer? You want me to change the trainer? Or all of you are okay with the trainer?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Why no one is interacting to her in the class? She is getting frustrated. No, Baswa, these fellows are not interacting in the class. Whether they are liking my teaching or not, please let me know. She has sent a message today. Okay, so your wish. She will finish the portion in few days. And if you want to interact, you can interact. Otherwise, it's fine. So different HTTP methods. Take a heading, different HTTP methods, and make four columns or 3 columns. First column is HTTP method. And then okay, HTTP method. First column. Second column, you write CRUD operation. CRUD operation. CRUD operation. And then you can write the description. CRUD operation. Make 3 columns. HTTP method, CRUD operations, CRUD operation, and a description. Description. Okay. First one, get method. First one, get, HTTP method, get. Inside a CRUD operation, you write, whenever we want to read, see, CRUD means CRUD, I said. C means create, R means read. So now I am covering R. First one is read, I'm covering. R is nothing but read. That is read. C means, that is create. For that, I will be using post method. And here I'll be using get method. U means update. You can use patch or post method. Patch, put, you can use that. Okay, patch, put, you can use for update. D means delete, if you want to delete the resource. So now that is what I'm covering. First one is get. In CRUD operation, write down. Whenever we want to read the information from the server, whenever we want to read the information from the server, whenever we want to read the information from the server, whenever we want to read the information from the server, and whenever we want to read the information from the, whenever we want to read the information from the server, that time we will be using a get method. That time we will be using a get method. That time we will be using a get method. That time we will be using a get method. Okay, in the description, write down. Whenever we try to fetch the information from the server, we will get the status code as 200. Whenever we try to fetch the information from the server, we will get a status code as 200. We will get a status code as 200. We will get a status code as 200, which means successfully we have fetched the data from the server, which means successfully we have fetched the data from the server. Which means successfully we have fetched the data from the server. Successfully we have fetched the data from the server. Next point, second one. Wait. Before that, in the description only, continuation. If we are not able to get the required information from the server, if we are not able to get the required information from the server, if we are not able to get the required information from the server, we will get a status code as, 404. 404, which means not found. Which means not found. Okay, so next, the second HTTP method, post. Post. Post method. Whenever we want to create a new resource in the server, whenever we want to create a new resource in the server, whenever we want to create a new resource in the server, we go with a, whenever we want to create a new resource in the server, we go with the post method. In the description, you write, once we create the, once we create the, once we create the data in the server, once we create the data in the server, we will get a status code as 201. We will get a status code as 201. We will get a status code as 201. Status code as 201. Status code as 201. Which means a resource has been created successfully in the server. Which means resource has been created successfully in the server. Which means resource has been created successfully in the server. Okay. Next, the third one, patch. Patch method. In the CRUD operation, you write update. Update. Whenever we want to update the partial information, we use a patch method. We use the patch method. We use the patch method. And after updating the information, 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 we will get a status code as 200. We will get a status code as 200. In the description, you write, sometimes we will get 404 status code. Sometimes we will get 404 status code. 404 status code, which means the resource which we are trying to, which means the resource which we are trying to update is not available. Which means the resource we are trying to update is not available. Hence, 404 means not found. Hence, 404 means not found. Next, post is done, patch is done. Next, put method, you write. Fourth one, put. In the CRUD operation, you just write update. In the CRUD operation, just write update. And next, go to the description. There you write up. Whenever we want to update the full information of the resource which is already created in the server, whenever we want to update the full information of the resource, whenever we want to update the full information of the resource which is already created in the server, which is already created in the server, which is already created in the server, we use put method. We use put method. we use put method, comma, when the required resource is not available to update, when the required resource is not available, when the required resource is not available when we are updating, we'll get 404 status code, which means not found. We'll get 404 status code, which means not found. Okay, so we have performed CRU. Now D is pending. CRUD. HTTP method. Last one. Delete. Delete method. And in the CRUD operation also you write delete. And go to the description. There you write. Whenever we want to delete the required information, whenever we want to delete the required information in the server, whenever we want to delete the required information in the server, whenever we want to delete the required information in the server, we use delete method. After deleting, we will get a status code as 204. After deleting, we will get a status code as 204, which means no content is available in the server. No content is available in the server. Sometimes we will get 400 or 404 error because of the bad request. Means when you are trying to delete, right? So you will not enter the proper URL. So that time you will enter some wrong URL. Hello. Hello.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Wait. Sorry, I got a call in between. I connected to mobile. Now I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah. So I was talking about this 4 sometimes we'll get 400 and 404. Sometimes we'll get 400 and 404 error because of the bad request, sent by the user. Bad request sent by the user. Okay. Can you tell me what are all the status codes you know? What are all the status codes you are aware? Status codes you have tested. Okay, if I really want to check the status code, okay, let me go and check in the Google. HTTP status codes. So from 100 to 599, do we have a status code? Total, we have 500 status codes. Is it possible to remember? Practically nobody can remember this. But I'll give you 5 important status codes related to each and every category, from 100 to 104, from 200 to 204, 300 to 304, 400 to 404, 500 to 504. So those 5 I'll give. So you need to remember that, and you have to by heart. These questions they will ask you in the interview. Can you please tell me what are all the status codes we have? Or in between, they'll ask why we get 404 error, why we get 504 error, why we get 201, why we get 304 or 303. Why we get 400? What is the difference between 402 and 401? Like that, they will be asking you a question. So you should be remembered. Now you write down a heading. HTTP status codes. HTTP status codes. HTTP status codes. HTTP status codes has been divided into 5 types. Divided into 5 types, which are listed below. Then you write down these 5 names. Informational response from 100 to 199. Then successful response 200 to 299. Till here you write down. Let me know once you complete it.
Done, sir.
Okay. Heading you write down. Informational response status code. Informational response status code. It is used to communicate the transfer protocol level information. It is used to communicate the transfer protocol level information, which we will never come across in our testing, but you should be knowing it, which is used to communicate the transfer protocol level information. Under that, 100 means continue. 100 means continue. 100 means continue. First one. 100 means continue. It is the kind of a interim response. It is the kind of a interim response. It's a kind of a interim response which indicates the client means client should continue the request. Client should continue the request or ignore the request. Client should continue the request or ignore the response. Client should continue the request. See, this meaning is continue the request till you get an update, or ignore the response. Even though if you got some response, still you want to generate a data if request is already finished. That is the meaning. Means continue means whether you got a response, still you want to generate one more time, you can still continue. Or whether you are not got an update, you can continue your request, then you will get an update. That is the meaning. The client should continue the request or ignore the response if the request is already satisfied. If the request is already satisfied. Next, 101. 101 means switching the protocols. 101 means switching the protocols. Switching the protocols. Switching the protocols. When server is trying to switch the protocol, client will be getting an indication that 101 has a status quo. When server is trying to switch the protocol, or switching the protocol, client will get an indication as 101 status code. Is a 101 status code. Next, 102. Processing. 102 means processing. 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 So this status code indicates the server has received the request. This status code indicates the server has received the request. The server has received the request. Server has received the request and processing the request but no response is given to the client. Still it's processing. Okay, so this is enough. Next, 200 heading. 200. Heading you can write a 200 series status codes, which indicates 200 series status codes heading, which indicates the client request was accepted successfully, which indicates that client request was accepted successfully. Under that you write down first one 200. Okay. 200 stands for okay. 200 stands for okay. Next, continuation. The request is succeeded. The request is succeeded. The request is succeeded and given the required output and given the required response. You can write given the required response. Stop. Next line. Most of the time, get method, put method, and patch method will be using this status code. Most of the time, get method, put method, patch method, get method, put method, patch method will be using this status code. Next, 201. 201 means created. 201 means created. The request is wait. 201 means created. Answer. Whenever we are trying to create a new resource in the server, using post method, we will get this status code. Which means successfully a resource has been created. In the server. Successfully a resource has been created in the server. Next, 202 means accepted. 202 means accepted. Answer. The server has received the request. The server has received the request, but it is not yet given any action on the request. But it is not acted. But it is not. But it is not yet acted on the request. It's not getting a. It is not given any reaction. That's meaning. But it is not yet acted upon the request. Request. Okay, next. 203. Non-authoritative information. Non-authoritative. Information. Non-authoritative information. This status code indicates that, see, look at here, whenever you send something to the server, okay, so I wanted to go and fetch the required details from the server, but it has got the response not from the main server. It is not collected the proper information and it is not giving you a proper response. It has collected the data, but it is not collected from the main server, whatever I wanted. It is collected from some local server and it is giving you some junk data, which is not valid data. That is the meaning. 203 means non-authoritative information. Write out. This response status code indicates that it has returned RETURNAD. It has returned the metadata. It has returned the metadata. Has returned the metadata is not exactly same as available in the original server. Is not exactly same as is not exactly same as not exactly same as available in the original server, but it is collected from the local or third party server. Okay, so that is the meaning. Next, 204. 204. 204. It's no content. No content. Whenever we delete the data in the server, whenever we delete the data in the server using delete method, so there is no data is available in the server to send it back. So there is no data is available in the server to send it back as a response to the client. So there is no data is available in the server to send it back to the client as a response. That time we get no content. That time we get no content. Next heading, 300 series status codes are, we call it as redirectional messages or redirection messages. Redirectional messages. Under that, 300 means a multiple choice. Multiple choice. Multiple choice. Next answer. So one request will be having a more than one possible response. One request will be having a more than one possible response. One request will be having a more than one possible response. One request will be having a more than one possible response. One request will be having a more than one possible response. So that time we have to choose any one of them. That time we have to choose any one of them. That time we have to choose any one of them. So that is about 300. Next, 301. 301. Moved permanently. MOVED. Moved permanently. Moved permanently. Moved permanently. 301. The URL of a requested resource. The URL of a requested resource. The URL of a requested resource has been changed permanently. The URL of a requested resource has been changed permanently. The new URL, full stop and continue. The new URL is given to the new URL is given in the response. Means you are trying to access one URL. In that, there is no data is available because now they changed that URL. So in the response, you will get it. So this is a new URL. So you should use it as a request. So that is the response, you'll get it. Moved permanently. For that answer. So the URL of a requested resource has been changed permanently. Has been changed permanently. Stop. The new URL is given. The new URL is given in the response. The new URL is given in the response. The new URL is given in the response. Okay, so 302 found. Found. This response code indicates that URI. You write here URI. I'll teach you in the tomorrow class. What is the difference between URL and URI? URI means a uniform resource indicator. URL means a uniform resource locator. This status code response means URI of the requested resource has been changed temporarily. Has been changed temporarily. Has been changed temporarily. The new URL is wait has been changed temporarily. Full stop. Further changes in the URI. Further changes in the URI might be made in the future. Hence, full stop and continue. Hence, same URI should be used by the client in the future request. Hence, same URI should be used by the client in the future request. Hence, same URI should be used by the client in the future request. Means you are trying to access the data, you are not getting it. So you'll get a response saying that it has been changed temporarily. But after 1 week, if you try to use same URL, it will work. That is the meaning. Once again, I'll repeat. 302 found, which means the status code means the URI of the requested resource has been changed temporarily. To stop. Further changes are made. Further changes are made. Further changes are made. Further changes are made to that URI. in the future, full stop. Therefore, same URI, therefore, a same URI should be used by the client. Therefore, a same URI should be used by the client in the future requests. In the future requests. Okay, last one, 303, and we'll see 304 also. Just write a name, 303 and 304. 303 stands for see other. 303 stands for see other. See other. Three not four stands for not modified. Not modified. Just remember this. That's more than enough. Rarely they will ask. They might ask 304. 303 they will not ask you much. 304 means not modified. Not modified. This status code is majorly used for caching purpose. CACHING, caching purpose. 304. This status code is majorly used for caching purpose. Used for caching purpose. Caching purpose. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see 400 series status code and then 500 series status codes. After that, URI, URL, Postman tool, basic things we will understand. Okay, I'll stop it now.
Sir, can you conduct tomorrow also for class?